Hey everyone, today we're diving into the Book of Nehemiah. Buckle up for a story of leadership, rebuilding, and faith. Nehemiah isn't your typical Bible character. He's a high-ranking official chilling in the Persian Empire, far from Jerusalem. But when he hears about the sorry state of his homeland, walls broken, city in ruins, Nehemiah springs into action. This book is basically Nehemiah's memoir. We see him pouring his heart out to God, then convincing the king to let him return to Jerusalem as governor. With cunning plans and a passionate spirit, Nehemiah rallies the people to rebuild the city walls. But it's not all smooth sailing. There's opposition, threats, and setbacks. Nehemiah has to navigate tricky political situations while keeping the people motivated. The book doesn't just focus on bricks and mortar. Nehemiah also tackles social and religious reforms. He confronts unfair practices and leads the people in a renewed commitment to God's law. By the end, Jerusalem is standing tall again, both physically and spiritually. The Book of Nehemiah is an inspiring story about what can be accomplished through faith, perseverance, and a good dose of leadership. So if you're looking for a biblical tale of rebuilding and renewal, this book is definitely worth checking out. The Book of Nehemiah is a part of the Old Testament in the Bible and is considered a historical and religious work. It continues the narrative of the Jewish people's return from Babylonian exile, focusing on the leadership and efforts of Nehemiah, a Jewish exile who serves as the cupbearer to the Persian king Artaxerxes. The book primarily deals with Nehemiah's mission to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem and restore the spiritual and social life of the Jewish community there. Nehemiah as a model leader who combines practical leadership skills with spiritual commitment. It offers insights into the challenges faced by the returning Jewish exiles and their efforts to rebuild their city and community. Additionally, it underscores themes of spiritual renewal, social justice, and covenantal commitment, making it a valuable text in both Jewish and Christian traditions. The first two chapters lay the groundwork. We meet Nehemiah, a dude working in a super high-pressure job as cupbearer to King Artaxerxes in Susa, the Persian capital. It's a cushy position, but one mistake in front of the king could mean big trouble. Then, bam! Nehemiah's brother Hanani shows up with a group from Judah. They drop some bad news. Jerusalem, the holy city, is in ruins. The walls are broken, the gates are burned, and the people who returned from exile are struggling. Nehemiah is devastated. This city is his heritage, his history. He mourns for Jerusalem and for the people. Nehemiah doesn't just wallow. He pours his heart out to God in prayer. He confesses the sins of the people, but also remembers God's promises. He begs for God's favor and for the chance to help rebuild Jerusalem. Here's the twist. Nehemiah isn't just some concerned observer. He hatches a daring plan. But to pull it off, he'll need something he doesn't have yet: permission from the king. Deeply grieved by the news of Jerusalem's ruins, Nehemiah waited for the right moment. When King Artaxerxes seemed receptive, Nehemiah strategically expressed his sadness. Nehemiah 1 verses 1-4. Nehemiah framed his request with respect. He addressed the king as his superior and acknowledged his past service. Nehemiah 2 verse 5. Nehemiah connected his request to his ancestral roots, expressing his desire to rebuild the city where his forefathers resided. Nehemiah 2 verse 3. Nehemiah didn't just express a wish. He presented a clear plan, outlining the goal of rebuilding Jerusalem. Nehemiah 2 verse 5. Nehemiah anticipated potential needs during his journey and requested official letters for safe passage and resources for the project. Nehemiah 2 verses 7-8. The Bible mentions Nehemiah offering a silent prayer before speaking to the king, highlighting his dependence on God's guidance. Nehemiah 2 verse 4. Favorably impressed by Nehemiah's sincerity, well-defined plan, and possibly influenced by the queen's presence, King Artaxerxes granted permission and provided the requested resources. Nehemiah 2 verses 6-8. Nehemiah's success demonstrates the importance of a well-prepared appeal, coupled with faith and a strategic approach. In chapters 3-7, we see a section packed with action as the Israelites rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Nehemiah 3, a city in shambles. Chapter 3 gets down to business. It's a long list of names and locations, but it tells a fascinating story. Nehemiah organizes the people into work crews, each assigned a section of the wall. The details paint a picture of a city in ruins, with gates broken down and entire sections missing. Unity in the face of opposition, Nehemiah 4-7. Things get interesting in chapters 4-7. As the walls rise, so does opposition from enemies like Sanballat and Tobiah. They mock, threaten, and even try to sabotage the project. But Nehemiah rallies the people. Priests with swords stand guard at night, and construction continues with one hand on the trowel and the other on a weapon. Key takeaways. There are a few key things to remember from this section. Unity is strength. Despite their differences, the Israelites come together for a common cause. Everyone contributes, from priests and nobles to merchants and ordinary people. Leadership matters. Nehemiah's unwavering faith and strategic leadership keep the project on track. Overcoming obstacles. The Israelites face opposition, but they don't give up. They adapt and persevere. Nehemiah organizes the people into teams to rebuild the city walls, and they work diligently despite facing opposition from neighboring nations. Nehemiah also deals with internal issues, such as economic injustice among the Jewish community. The walls are rebuilt in a remarkably short time, and a dedication ceremony is held. The story of Nehemiah is a powerful reminder that even when faced with challenges, anything is possible when people work together. It speaks to the importance of strong leadership and unwavering faith. Imagine a giant outdoor gathering in Jerusalem. The Israelites are pumped, having just heard Ezra read out God's law for hours. But there's a problem. They realize how much they messed up by forgetting all about these instructions. Leading with joy, Nehemiah 8:10. Here comes Nehemiah, the governor, stepping in to turn things around. He tells everyone, "Hold on. This isn't a day for mourning. It's a holy day to celebrate the Lord." He basically says, go enjoy a delicious feast. Don't forget to share with those who can't afford one. Strength in joy, Nehemiah 8:10. Nehemiah drops this amazing line. The joy of the Lord is your strength. This means that finding happiness in your faith can give you the power to get through tough times. It's like a spiritual energy boost. Reflecting and repenting, Nehemiah 9-10. The rest of the chapter focuses on the Israelites reflecting on their history. They remember both the good times following God's instructions and the bad times when they strayed away. They come together in prayer, repenting for their mistakes and recommitting themselves to following God's laws. Ezra the priest reads the law of Moses to the people, and they respond with repentance and a renewed commitment to follow God's commands. A great assembly gathers, and a covenant is made to obey the law and maintain the purity of the community. Now, it's time to focus on the people who will bring the city back to life. Who gets to live in Jerusalem? Nehemiah 11 deals with the question of who will reside in the rebuilt city. Jerusalem had been sparsely populated, and filling it with people was crucial. The text tells us that leaders volunteered to live there, and for the rest of the people, a lottery system was used. 1 out of 10 would relocate to Jerusalem, with the others remaining in their own towns. Leaders and Levites take charge. Chapter 11 also introduces us to the key figures who will lead the community. We see lists of priests, Levites, gatekeepers, and singers, all essential for the religious and civic life of Jerusalem. These leaders are responsible for things like temple rituals, singing praises, and guarding the city gates. Nehemiah 12-13. Rededication and reform. Moving on to chapters 12 and 13, we witness a grand rededication of the wall. There are processions, sacrifices, and celebrations. It's a joyous event that marks a new beginning for Jerusalem. But Nehemiah is not done yet. Chapter 13 focuses on reforms he institutes to strengthen Jewish identity and observance. He cracks down on marriages with foreigners and ensures the fair treatment of Levites. Why is this important? These chapters in Nehemiah give us a glimpse into the challenges and triumphs of rebuilding a community after devastation. We see the importance of leadership, religious practice, and social responsibility. It's a story that continues to resonate with us today as we strive to build strong and vibrant communities. Nehemiah takes measures to repopulate Jerusalem, even as some people remain in the surrounding towns. He addresses issues of tithing, Sabbath observance, and the conduct of priests and Levites. The book concludes with Nehemiah's final reforms and prayers for God's favor. Let's talk about Nehemiah. So, history buffs and Bible believers, today we dived into the Book of Nehemiah, a story of leadership, faith, and overcoming crazy obstacles. But it's about more than just bricks and mortar. Let's unpack the key themes and why this book is still super relevant today. Theme 1. God's faithfulness. Even after messing up big time, God hadn't given up on the Israelites. Nehemiah shows God's unwavering commitment to restoring his people. This is a major takeaway. No matter how far we stray, there's always a path back to God. Theme 2. Leadership under fire. Nehemiah wasn't just some construction dude. He was a passionate leader who rallied the people, motivated by his faith. We see him facing opposition, threats, and even internal conflicts. But his dedication and reliance on God inspire us to lead with courage and conviction. Theme 3. Rebuilding the community. The walls of Jerusalem were important, but Nehemiah knew it wasn't just about bricks. He focused on rebuilding the spiritual and social fabric of the community. This reminds us that strong communities are built on shared values, faith, and helping each other out. Theme 4. Facing injustice. Nehemiah wasn't afraid to confront social problems like debt and exploitation. He challenged the status quo and championed the rights of the poor. This is a powerful message for us to stand up for what's right and fight for justice in our own communities. Why Nehemiah matters today. This book isn't some dusty history lesson. It's a story of hope and renewal. It shows that even when things seem broken, there's always the potential to rebuild our cities, our communities, and most importantly, our relationship with God. So next time you feel discouraged, remember Nehemiah. With faith, leadership, and a commitment to justice, anything is possible. Let us know in the comments below what inspires you most about Nehemiah's story. Alright folks, for our finale on the Book of Nehemiah, let's zoom out. Nehemiah's story isn't just about rebuilding walls. It's about the perseverance of faith, the importance of community, and the constant struggle against those who would tear us down. He faced opposition, internal conflict, and the ever-present threat of backsliding. Yet, through it all, he clung to his trust in God and the vision for a restored Jerusalem. The book ends with a bittersweet note. While the city is rebuilt and the people recommit to the law, challenges remain. But Nehemiah leaves us with a powerful message. Even when things are tough, even when the walls are broken, there's always hope for renewal. We, like the Israelites, can rebuild our own walls, both physical and metaphorical, with faith as our guide. So, that's the Book of Nehemiah. Now I invite any questions or comments you may have. Leave your comments and questions below, and let's delve deeper into the fascinating world of Nehemiah together. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments what other biblical stories you'd like to explore next. Have an amazing day, and please don't forget to give a like. Subscribe for more Bible content, and hit the bell icon so that you can stay up to date on all my new videos about the living Word. Be blessed.